Hello, lesson 3 on Dave's Cave, book by Fran Preston Gannon. Now, as you know, Dave went out in search of his own perfect cave. He thought the one he was in wasn't quite right, and he went to a few different caves, but none of them was really what he was looking for. So if we have a little look through the book, you can see he went to the first one. He said, didn't quite fit right. He went to another one, and this one was, of course, was too dark. He went to another one, which sadly was full of bats. And there was another one he went to, which was not full of bats, but was full of a saber-toothed tiger. And of course, who can forget John, who lived in a beautiful cave, but didn't want to live with Dave. So, you can see Dave had to go all around and was looking for a new cave and couldn't find what he was looking for. Now, what I'd like you to think of is I'd like you to use your imagination. Have a think of some other caves that Dave might have tried that weren't quite right. Perhaps he went to a cave and it was full of lava, so that wouldn't be very good for him either, a bit too hot. Perhaps he went to another cave and it would flood all the time. That wouldn't be very good, a bit too wet. Perhaps there was a cave full of other kind of creatures or animals. Maybe there was somewhere too stony, too rough. Have a think, what other caves might Dave have tried that wouldn't be very good for him at all? And then we're going to turn those into some sentences. Use your imagination, first of all, to think about the kind of caves that would be no good for Dave. And then we're going to use some conjunctions, focusing on two in particular. Now, a conjunction is a joining word that allows us to explain something. That's what we're using it for here. So you can see I've given you a few sentence starters that you might like to use. It says, Dave didn't like this cave because, so think of your new cave. Maybe let's go for the one with the volcano. Dave didn't like this cave because it was too hot. There was a volcano in it. This cave was no good because it was full of water. Dave liked this cave, but unfortunately there was a giant snake slithering around on the floor. No good. Dave couldn't stay there because there was already somebody else living in it and they weren't very friendly at all. So I'd like you to have, let's put those here for you. I'd like you to have a think of some other caves that Dave might have tried. Why were they no good to him? So have a think of those and then turn those into some sentences using the word because or but to explain why he didn't want to stay there and he was going to end up going back to the cave where he started. Off you go.